Hello, Malcolm Fish here with another DCS Essentials Guide to the F18. In this one we're going to look at the startup procedure, and we're going to do this from the deck as cold start. We'll switch off our flashlight, battery's going to be on, and canopy to close. On the left hand side we're going to switch on our APU, and as soon as the light goes on we're going to crank our right engine. Okay, right engine cranked, and we're going to watch the IFE screen now to get 26% on our right engine, making sure that our engines are in cut-off mode. And now we're at 26, so I'm going to push the engine to idle, the right throttle to idle. As soon as we get stable temperatures, then I'm going to crank the left engine.
Roll left.
So left
Flight
engine
controls.
cranked.
Flight controls.
Left engine to idle. Link the two throttles. Okay, so it's stability there and two good engine starts. So we're going to start sweeping the pit now from the right hand side. Going to click our INS into CV, our radar to on, our FLIR to on if we have one loaded. We can set our lighting panel to whichever way you desire. We're daylight now, so we really won't need our console instrument or floodlights. Pit heat to on. I wouldn't normally do this until we're ready to take off. I'm going to do it now to just demonstrate it. And our anti-ice on. Bleed air cycle 360. And moving forward, our radar altimeter warning, set that to about 40. Going forward to our auxiliary our auxiliary ADI, I'm going to on-cage that and tune it in, and now we're going to switch on our MFCDs left and right and center, and now down to the IFE again, and we're going to put our bingo fuel level to 3000. And before we leave this area and move back to the gear panel, I'm going to set our INI to fast mode by clicking on the HSI page, and on the push button 19 there I'm going to click STD HDG. That's going to work away there, and I'm going to come down to our gear panel now. Gear is down. Checking my HOTAS that my gear switch is down. Launch bar is up. Taxi lights are off, we don't want to blind the deck crew. Our flap should be half, anti-skid to be on, and hook bypass in carrier mode. Coming back down, we don't need to change any of these items here. Our formation lights, we can switch them on, and our position lights switched on, and checking with our lights master switch to switch them on. Going to get our pilot out of the way for a moment, and we're going to reset the FLCS, and we're going to reset the rudder trim. Going back to the last button on the left hand side is the off button, and I'm going to switch that on. There is an option here for changing the volume of some things, but you may do this in the air, they're not essentials. Switching back our pilot now and coming back into the center console. I'm going to do our UFC items now, and starting off with our TACAN, let's look at our kneeboard. we can see it's ATC is 127.5, TACAN 75 X-ray, and ILS is 11. Let's go through those 3 items. So TACAN, we're going to switch it on at 71. Enter. ILS also to on, channel 11. Enter. Data link to on. ECN to on. IFF to on. And check our radios. And our left radio is automatically tuned in. You can do this yourself by entering. I'll go through the process. So if I select it, I can put in 127.500 and enter just in that way in case it's not entered already. Coming down, I don't have to change anything on the panel below the UFC there. There's some brightness and various HUD settings there you can adjust to your heart's content. They're not essential. Coming down to the middle MFCD, the colour one, no changes to that. And below that, I'm going to switch our master CMS button on to liven our CMS systems, dispenser to fully on, and ECM to fully XMIT. So that's pretty much everything down there. I'm going to arm our seat belt, or arm our seat ejection, and that's pretty much it there. Now we've got an OK for completing our INS, so I'm going to complete the INS by moving the switch into IFA mode. And on the right hand side we have our bit page up here, and nothing is essential for the bit page except the HMCS, and I'm going to switch on our HMCS by rolling the button here, and we have our HMCS on. Now I'm going to align the HMCS, so go in here from push button 11, and we can see we have test mode coming up on our screen there, and it's cycling through that. So that's all good. We're going to stop that, and then we're going to go to the supplemental menu page, and push button 3 is the head mounted display, and push button 20 is the alignment button. And now we see 2 crosses that we need to put one on top of the other, and click our on cage button to align. So I'm going to hold them as steady as I can and align. So the alignment is good. And now if there's any minor movement, we can see some minor movement there. We should be able to adjust that by using the slew button, the TDC slew button, left or right. And we can. And we put the upper square close to the cross on the upper side, and we can see there's a little bit of offset at the bottom, and we change this by clicking the on cage button once more, and you can see we're in the roll mode, and again use the slew TDC slew button to bring the lower square in line with the line, and that looks like a decent alignment. Now click out of the align button, on cage it, unbox it, and we're good there. Finally, back to the FLCS page, and I'm going to change our stabs to 16 by holding the trim button down until we get up to 16 for takeoff. That's all good, and I'm going to bring up our checklist now to make sure we've covered everything. Okay, controls, flashlight, battery, generators all on, engines, external lights, consoles, INS alignment, left flaps, rudder trim, and flaps, FLCS trim, park and brake, low altitude settings are done. Actually, low altitude setting, there's one more thing I need to set on that, and that is the barometric altitude warning. So I'm going to click on data there, click on aircraft from the HSI page, and down to push button 20, and then in the UFC I'm going to type in the new altitude I want to use, enter, and then click on the HSI once again. master reset there, and we are pretty much ready to go. Let's just go on to the next page for completeness. Radar's on, canopy's closed, comms are set, hood is on, INS is timed out and set. So before we move off, I'm going to request chocks removal from the ground crew. Ground crew, wheel chocks, and remove.
Chief, remove the wheel chocks.
Copy. Wheel chocks are now removed.
And I'm going to hit the nose wheel steering button to go into high turn rate mode, and you can see there on the hood NWS high, and take our parking brake off. And that's pretty much it. We're ready to move out now, and I hope you found this video useful and interesting, and thanks for watching. Feel free to like, dislike, subscribe and comment, and until the next time, this is Fished Out.